feel rusty in here.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Did you say rusty?
Yeah,
Rusty.
rusty. Well, haven't done it like in a month.
The month before.
All right. All right, everyone. Well,
You're rusty.
I am rusty. Thank you. So Kim, you're ready to go. Thank you very much. This is a special meeting. The agenda is relatively brief in terms of what we can handle tonight. A lot of this is teeing us up for a special meeting August 19th. And so we'll get right to it. And I will call to order this special meeting of the Beverly City Council, Monday, July 29th, 2024, 6:30 p.m. Ms. Kent, will you please call the roll?
Bowen. Here. Crowley. Feldman. Here. Houseman. Rotundo. Spang. Here. St. Hilaire. Here. Sweeney.
Here.
And Flowers.
Here. That was quick. I wasn't ready for you to get to me.
Sorry.
Councillor Spang, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Councillor Spang. I just want to recognize and thank members of the administration, mayor's team who are here. Mayor Cahill is here with us. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. City Solicitor Stephanie Williams is here as well. Thank you, Solicitor. Our Fire Chief, Peter O'Connor, is here. Thank you, Chief. And our City Finance Director, Brian Ailes. Thank you for joining us, all of you, on this lovely summer evening. And thank you also, councilors, for being here this evening so we can work through some of this business tonight. So we'll begin by going to communications from His Honor the Mayor, which this and then some other communications from other city officers and boards are the bulk of the meeting this evening. There won't be subcommittees tonight. We will have subcommittee break at the August meeting. So Ms. Kent, let's go to communications from His Honor the Mayor, please.
Dear Honorable City Council, you will recall the city entered into a memorandum of agreement with National Grid related to the 115 kV electric transmission cable project. The MOA provided various financial commitments related to repaving costs as well as reimbursements of engineering costs the city would incur in an overnight capacity. As a result of this agreement and a series of payments made by National Grid back to fiscal year 2023, the city transferred funds into a project account to pay the engineering costs associated with the project. When the reimbursements for these costs were received, they were deposited back into the general fund to reimburse the initial transferring result and no cost to the general fund. This mechanism was utilized under the direction of the Division of Local Services. Due to an increased need for engineering oversight on this project to date, National Grid has provided an additional $410,000 to the city to cover that additional cost. These funds will be deposited into the general fund miscellaneous revenue and will require that the City Council appropriate $410,000 to be transferred into the existing project fund 6321 to cover these costs. As we have already received the funds, this appropriation will result in zero cost to the general fund. Please initiate action at your next meeting by setting a public hearing. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Kent. Councilors, I would entertain a motion to set this public hearing for that special meeting on August 19th, 7:15 p.m. Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. That carries 6-0. 6-0.
Order number 202, Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby reappoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Richard Scanlon of 107 Salem Road, Billerica, to serve on the Board of Assessors. Mr. Scanlon is a highly regarded assessor and extremely knowledgeable in the field, and I respectfully request a waiver of the residency requirement. His term is to be effective until December 31st, 2026. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order number 203, Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby reappoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Robert Bushbaum, 12 Bertram Street, to serve as the Conservation Commission to represent it on Community Preservation Committee. His term is to be effective until July 31st, 2027. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order number 204, Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby appoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Nathan Seavey, 9 Kernwood Avenue, to serve on the Economic and Community Development Council. His term to be effective until December 31st, 2025. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order number 205, Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby appoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Scott White from 115 Coleman Street to serve on the Harbor Management Authority. His term is to be effective until December 31st, 2026. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Public Services.
Order number 206, Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby appoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Brett Parent, 19 Somerset Avenue, to serve on the Board of Registers of Voters. His term is to be effective until March 31st, 2027. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order number 207, attached is a request from Fire Chief O'Connor to declare a fire department vehicle as surplus property. The vehicle will be then donated to Rehab 5, a Peabody-based charity that provides fireground rehabilitation at no cost to communities across Essex County. I respectfully ask that you consider this request at your earliest convenience. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilors, in order that we can handle this in a timely fashion, I'd entertain a motion to allow us to vote this on the floor tonight rather than send it to a subcommittee.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So this will require 2 votes when we're ready for it. One to declare the vehicle as surplus and then another to donate it. Chief O'Connor, I know you're here this evening with us. I don't know if there's anything that you'd like to say about this, or Mayor, that you would as well. So I'd invite Chief, please.
It has a very rough life. It's been the forestry truck, so it's spent a lot of time in the woods, taking a beating out there. And in the off-season, it's our plow truck. So it does nothing simple. So it has served its purpose for us. Roger Baker's Rehab 5, I can't say enough about them. They've never missed a multiple alarm fire in this city. They've been to all kinds of incidents beyond that, all at their own expense. They're truly an amazing organization. Roger's an amazing person, and this would be very beneficial to him to have as just a yard truck.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Councilors, are there any questions for the chief while he's at the podium? Okay. Oh, Councilor Bowen.
Thank you. Since there are no questions, I don't have one either, but just a thank you for the creativity and finding ways to extend the public value of resources that have been fully used, and appreciate the information that was in the order about, there's not much other value we can get back for this vehicle, so knowing it will be used across the North Shore, including potentially for folks in Beverly that need that.
Thank you.
It's great to hear, so thanks for the creative solutions.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor. So, Councilors, I would entertain a motion first to declare the vehicle as surplus.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 6-0. No, you're doing,
I
Councilor
don't
Sweeney,
blame
I
you.
appreciate your enthusiasm. So that's 6-0 to declare it surplus, and then I'd entertain a motion to vote to donate the vehicle.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
There you go. You got a few more ayes there, Councilor. Vocal ayes. There have been ayes by hand raising. So that also carries 6-0. Thank you very much, Chief, for being here with us this evening, and I'll echo Councilor Bowen's thanks to you for always thinking about how we can serve our community and the communities beyond this one. So thank you. All right, Ms. Kent. Oh, thank you. I would entertain a motion to accept a late file from His Honor the Mayor. All those in favor?
Council President, I just would like to ask a question of Mr. Ailes and the mayor first. Well, 2 questions, if I may.
You may.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Ailes, would you mind explaining the need for the vote now in the coming month as opposed to September in terms of authorizing this additional funding instead of just waiting until a regular meeting in September?
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Mr. Ailes.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. As you know, this has been a project that we've been working on with the council put some money towards. We've had engineers working on it. We received some hard bids related to some of the costs that would warrant additional money before we can sign those contracts. So it was either request that you all meet, and we left it up to you and the council president to say if you wanted to meet and keep the ball rolling with this project, a loan authorization would allow us to enter into the next phase of the contract. Otherwise, we could have waited a month or 2 months in that case, gotten the vote later, but it would have stalled the project an additional 2 months.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, Mr. Ailes. And I did, as we're voting here, notice that it's a late file. Could either you or the mayor address, was there information that came in at the last second with regards to this proposal that's any different than what you had otherwise been considering?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Council. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We weren't looking for 2 summer meetings. None of us wanted to have to do that. But, you know, as we've all been concerned with and wanting to push this project forward, when we got the responses to the RFP, and it was clear that, A, it was something we should move forward with, and B, that we needed more money to be able to sign the contract, that had us coming into having to put this into motion. As far as it being time-stamped at 12:03 p.m., when the council's rules are that it has to be in by 12 p.m. on Thursday, day of business, when the agenda has to be posted by 48 business hours before the meeting, so Thursday, 7 p.m. before Monday night, 7 p.m. We're working all day, every day on, as you well know, many issues. There are a lot of moving pieces with this in terms of trying to communicate most effectively and accurately what we're trying to accomplish here. And so in order to get the accompanying letter that explains where the project is at, what we're looking for money to do, what the RFP showed, the fact that there are additional pieces that we have really kind of ballpark quotes for that'll be refined once we were able to RFP those pieces. So as you know from reading the letter, the RFP for 1.68 million is meant to cover all of the envelope needs of the building, right? So masonry, roof, doors, windows, as well as the electrical and HVAC. So that's where the 168, right? No, the 168 covers everything but the electrical HVAC, which is in a more of an estimate that we anticipate is going to come in less than where the estimate is. That's at about 775,000. So that's all explained in the letter to you folks. And when working through that letter and trying to make it so that it would clarify and not cloud, it necessitated going back and rewriting that a couple of more times when it was at one point seen to be ready to submit. So there you had work going on late morning on Thursday after we'd already been in a regular meeting on the Bridge Street project, followed by a regular meeting on the City Hall project, and then turning and thinking this was ready to go and needing to make some adjustments. And, you know, as I said, I hope as you read that letter, it's really clear where we're at. But I think before it was improved upon with some time spent, it might not have done that. It might have lacked clarity. And there you had a 3-minute overrun of your internal rules. So it's late. But I would say there's letter and spirit of your own rules. So to consider it late at 3 minutes after the stated time, I don't think that's problematic to the public's ability and opportunity to have access to and an understanding of both the issues and the fact that you folks tonight would take that up for the sole purpose of setting a public hearing for a meeting in a few weeks from tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Ailes, for your explanations. I appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Thank you, Mayor. Are you all set, Councilor?
Yes, Madam President, thank you.
Thank you. So we do have a motion and a second to accept the late file. Is there any further discussion or other questions? All those in favor? Thank you. So that's 6-0 to accept the late file. Thank you, Mayor, for responding to Councilor Sweeney's questions on that. And so now it's just, I would entertain a motion to set the public hearing for this order for that August 19th meeting at 7:45 PM.
Second.
All those in, oh, Councilor Bowen, sorry.
Thank you. If I may just, given some of that context around the order, ahead of that meeting in August, if there is additional information beyond the single paragraph in that letter that describes what has been updated, for example, any of the project materials, anything that's shareable for us and the public to see ahead of that hearing so that we can come prepared with our best questions, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other discussion on setting the public hearing? So all those in favor of setting this public hearing on Order 208 for August 19th, 7:45 PM? We have, yeah, thank you. You're doing great. We had the motion the second, now we have another motion, so we're really good. So that's 6-0, that motion carries, and so that public hearing will also be on that August 19th meeting. Thank you, Ms. Kent.
Order number 212, dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly has been awarded a $1 million grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Community Project Funding. This funding will be used to construct the McPherson Teen Center campus and building to most effectively use its space to serve the city's youth. The McPherson Teen Center project is scheduled to begin in FY25. Additional funding for this capital project will be provided by the American Rescue Plan Act. We extend our sincere thanks to U.S. Congressman Seth Moulton for his advocacy and support for this project. Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A requires both City Council and Mayor approval before any grant, earmark, donation, or gift to the city can be expended for their prescribed purpose. I therefore request the City Council approve this grant at your upcoming meeting. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Thank you. And again, so that we can address this on the floor rather than refer to subcommittee, I'd entertain a motion to vote it on the floor this evening.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Councilor Sweeney.
Just one general question. I understand there may be other personnel involved that can better answer it, but Mayor, if you can maybe summarize where things stand with this project?
Councilor Sweeney, if you would be comfortable, I think when we have a motion a second on the order, then that's a good question for that. If you're comfortable voting on just whether we can vote it on the floor tonight without.
Okay, that's
Is that okay?
fair enough.
Okay, thank you. So just all those in favor of voting it on the floor rather than subcommittee tonight? Thank you. That carries 6-0. And now we will return to Councilor Sweeney's question once we have a motion and a second on the order itself. So is there a motion to approve Order 212?
So moved.
Yep.
Thank you. So we'll go to further discussion, and we'll start with Councilor Sweeney's question. Mayor or Mr. Ailes?
Yes, thank you. This is exciting. As you know, Congressman Moulton has been, asking constituent communities over the last couple of years as budget time comes around, what projects do you have that are worthy and, would benefit from additional federal help? And we applied for help with the youth center project. And so this funding in the federal budget became real, which makes a big difference for us with the project. We have since gone out with an RFP for the construction, the general contractor for the project. We've had our project manager and our architectural design firm, and we've been incurring costs for the design and the work bringing it forward. Here's the general contractor piece. So we're working with a budget of 6 point some odd. We've got a certain amount of ARPA funds, which are about the 5.2 to 5.5 million range. And then this million will empower us to actually sign the contract with the general contractor. Otherwise, we won't have sufficient funds for what we've already committed with the project manager and the architectural design firm to underwrite the cost. It's a 5.3 $5.341 million construction cost. And so in order to be able to sign that contract, we need the money available. We're ready to go, which hopefully means construction by, I don't want to overpromise, but I think we're shooting for, say, October. Before we were talking September, I think it's probably fair to say fall. But the goal is to be in construction on site this fall with about a year-long construction period. So that's the, that's the need to go ahead and get this funding accepted so that it's available for our use.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks.
That's all from me, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor Sweeney. Other discussion or questions? Counselor Bowen.
Thank you. I had a similar question, just whether this was the total we're expecting for additional sources of funds, and the game plan is still to have the full remainder of the project come from ARPA, or whether this amount changed any of our other calculations in terms of the funding piece.
Counselor, Mr. Ailes,
Yeah,
thank you.
great question. We have a number of sources that we're relying on, as the mayor mentioned. We had always, over the past probably 6 months or so, known that this was part of the mix, because we got the favorable news from Congressman's office about 4, 5, 6 months ago. And so we knew this was coming. There was another $200,000 in state earmarks that we've already received, that the council approved previously. So those two sources had always viewed as going to the project. In addition to that, we had always had earmarked about $5.5 million in the ARPA funds. These bids do push it slightly over that, but we have room through some other ARPA savings that we're able to reallocate to this project to complete the whole package.
Counselor Bowen.
Thank you. That's helpful, and that was where I thought we landed, so that's good to confirm. My only other question is, as we get closer to that construction start date, is there a game plan for where services will be provided in the meantime, and is that part of this overall budget number or out of a different financing plan?
Thank you, Councilor. So a couple questions there. The YMCA is working with their subtenant, the PASS program, to try to make sure they're set for the coming school year. As far as our own kids and some of our own high school students participate in the PASS program. But as far as the youth center programming, we've been working with the Y. We've been working with your colleague who's not here, Councilor Rotundo, in his capacity as a chair of the Youth Collaborative Board. So we're working with the Youth Collaborative, with the Y. We've talked with some property owners in the downtown, and we think we're kind of honing in on a space that will be made available to our young folks that they can utilize throughout the construction period. So that's one important piece. When the construction period starts, there'll be fencing put up around the existing building and parking lot, which will mean that the skate park and the basketball courts will be outside of that fencing, and they will continue to be available for people to use. It just won't be access to the building and the restroom. And then as far as budget for this, combination of things we're looking at, but I think I can tell you with some confidence that there will be a very nominal cost for us to house our youth center needs, our youth needs. And so I'm not overly concerned. We'll share with you as we get closer what we're able to work out for a deal and how we propose to handle that. But I think it's going to be, very, very modest and very, very appropriate to the need.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Bowen. Any other questions or comments from councilors on Order 212? All right. We have a motion and a second to approve Order 212. All those in favor of approving? Aye. Aye. Thank you. That carries 6-0. And thank you, Mr. Ailes, for being here to help with this one, and Solicitor Williams and Mayor as well. Let's go to communications from other city officers and boards, please, Ms. Kent.
Order number 209 from Council St. Hilaire, a request to refer this order to Parking and Traffic Commission for an amendment to City Ordinance 270-41 regarding prohibited parking at all times at the area of 54 Middlebury Lane in Pete's Park.
Thank you, Ms. Kent. Counselor St. Hilaire, anything that you'd like to say about this one?
Yeah, just that I was hoping to get this in front of the Parking and Traffic Commission in their August meeting, so wanted to use the special meeting as an opportunity to do that. A resident had brought up public safety concern, and this was a potential solution we wanted to look at, so thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselors, I would entertain a motion to refer this to the Parking and Traffic Commission, as Counselor St. Hilaire is hoping.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries 6-0. And so we'll refer that to Parking and Traffic for their next meeting. Thank you, Counselor.
Order number 210, a request for the City Council to invite Mayor Cahill and Wangari Fahari to an upcoming City Council meeting to update us on the DEI plan.
Thank you, Counselor St. Hilaire. This order is also from you. Is there anything you'd like to say about this one?
No, nothing in particular, just I thought it was a good time to schedule a meeting, similar to other council priorities in the past, to get an update on plan, where things stand, goals, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. So this letter would ask whether the council would like to, as a body, invite Mayor Cahill and Ms. Fahari to come probably to one of our first fall meetings. I would say September would be a good time for the public as well. And we would contact you, Mayor, and Ms. Fahari to set up a time that would be agreeable and be able to have them in for that conversation and those updates, as we've had other department heads in for updates as well. So I would entertain a motion first for us to be able to approve this on the floor tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries 6-0. I would entertain a motion to approve the request that the council invite as a body Mayor Cahill and Ms. Fahari to an upcoming meeting.
Second.
Councilor Feldman, did you say so moved? I thought so. Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Bowen.
Thank you. I can get it going. Thank you. Yeah, I was just wondering if this might be a topic that would fit well in a subcommittee meeting that could be scheduled sort of on its own, and was curious if that fit what Councilor St. Hilaire was thinking or not. I know some of our regular meetings can get quite long, and it's difficult to
I
have
am
those.
open to whatever the council president determines is the best approach.
Perfect. Thank you, councilors. So it seems like we can, if the body decides that we'd like to extend this invitation, then our next step will be to work to schedule it at a convenient time that works well for council, mayor, and Ms. Fahari, and also I think for members of the public to be able to follow the process with us as well. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor of Order 210 and inviting as body Mayor Cahill and Ms. Fahari to an upcoming meeting? Carries 6-0. And so we'll work through your office, Ms. Kent, to extend that invitation.
Order number 211 from Finance Director Brian Ailes, a request on behalf of the City Harbor Master and Airport Manager for approval to use FY 2025 appropriated funds towards payments for 12 prior year invoices totaling $5,974.15.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion for us to take this vote on the floor this evening rather than refer to subcommittee.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 6-0. And so now, before any further discussion, I'd entertain a motion to approve Order 211.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions on this one? Mr. Ailes, anything you wanted to say? I don't want to take your moment. Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve 211. All those in favor? That carries 6-0, and that is approved. That brings us to the end of our agenda for tonight's special meeting. So as members of the public who may be following heard, and just as a reminder to all those of us in this room as well, our next special meeting will be August 19th. That will be a 7:00 p.m. start, and we do have 2 public hearings in that meeting that we just set this evening. The first on Order 201, that's the appropriation of funds from National Grid's MOA related to the 115 kV project. And then the second at 7:45 is on Order 208, which is the request for Central Fire Station. Those will be taken up on August 19th. And of course, they are public hearings. Members of the public can attend and sign up to speak in either or both. Are there any other announcements or reminders that councilors had? Apart from that, between this meeting and that meeting, Beverly Homecoming will be taking place, and there'll be lots of great events throughout that week for members of the community. And we'll hope to see many people out and enjoying those and connecting with each other. Any other reminders or updates? All right. Well, thank you, Mayor, to you and members of your team for being here this evening. Thank you, Kim, in the BevCam booth, as always, for making sure that our meetings are live streamed for the public to access. And thank you, councilors, for being here, Ms. Kent, Ms. Dixon as well. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? That carries 6-0, and we are adjourned. Good night, everyone.